Switch. Place. Good. Okay. Place. Good. Okay. Here. Sit. Place. So up to this point, he associates an e-collar as being a no stop it tool. Stop whatever you're doing. And I am working on reprogramming that so that he understands it as a do what I'm asking you to do tool. So you will be able to use the e-collar to enforce a sit or enforce a down or enforce a recall, not just stop a behavior, because that's pretty limiting. So what I'm doing right now is when I give the command, I'm turning on e-collar pressure at a very low level, and he's learning that he turns that pressure off by completing whatever it is that I'm asking of him. So I have already kind of laid a foundation for how to do these skills using the leash to enforce it. Leash pressure and e-collar pressure are very similar. The only difference is the leash is giving more information. It's giving directional information, whereas the e-collar is not. The e-collar is just pressure with no additional context except for the verbal cue and my body language. Okay? So if I want him to, I'll come a little bit closer here. If I want him to SIT, I can ask him to do that by applying upwards pressure on the leash. And he knows that he turns that pressure off by putting his butt on the ground. I'm not going to start using the e-collar in the context of a sit yet because he's not quite advanced enough understanding leash pressure for me to want to use the e-collar yet. But the concept of turning off pressure is easiest to visually see turning off leash pressure to a sit. So that's why I demoed that, okay? So leash pressure on. Leash pressure off. Good boy. Leash pressure on. Leash pressure off. Now, this only works when there is not pressure happening all the time. So as the handler, you will have to learn to be very aware that you're not applying pressure when he is just existing, when you're not actively asking him to do something. So when he is holding the sit, I'm making sure that there is slack in the leash, that there is no tension. Because if I stand here and this leash is taut the whole time, well, now this amount of pressure means nothing to him. So if I go to use this amount of pressure to ask him to sit, it's not going to mean anything. I'm going to have to increase the amount of pressure or do something different so that he can differentiate it from the pressure that happens just all the time. So we have to make sure that when we're not actively asking him to do something, there's no pressure on this leash. Okay? Good boy. I'm going to run him through a few more reps of turning off the e-collar pressure to send him to place. Place. Good. Sounds good. You can come out here if you want, Maya, and sit in on this training session. Okay. Come here. Place. Place. Okay. So whenever I'm introducing e-collar, my goal is to find the very lowest level that he can perceive. Sometimes it's kind of tricky figuring out what that is because they don't always show. They don't always show me with, visual cues, something that I can visually see that they feel it. Place. So just for context, that's a level 10 out of 100. I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to a level 8. Okay. Place. That's a level 8 out of 100. I can no longer feel a level 8 when I use it on myself, but he clearly can. You can clearly see by that head tilt that he can still feel it. Okay? And because he does have some negative experience with the e-collar leading up to this, we're probably going to see a more dramatic reaction because he is waiting for the shoe to drop. He's waiting for the bigger correction that he associates with being the e-collar. Place. Good. So as he's figuring out how to turn off this e-collar, you can tell that I'm using the leash. No, place. To show him what it is that I'm wanting. No, place. And he's giving me some dramatics. My only job is to not feed into it. He's used to getting a very dramatic reaction from you guys when he is dramatic. So I'm not going to match that energy. I'm going to let him figure it out. Okay? Place. No, place. Good. Okay? And I'll say it again, I am still on a level 8, which is lower than I can feel on myself. So what he is showing us with the little bit of vocalization, I would say that is not very predictive of what he's actually feeling. Place. Good. Okay? Place. And I am having to help him with the leash less and less, which is the goal. Okay? Place. Yes! Good boy! Place. Good. Okay?